First, let me talk to them. First, let me talk to them.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Friends, good morning.
Good morning.
I know.
Very good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
ಅವ್ರು ರಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಮರ್ತ್ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ ಸರ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
So glad to meet you all, and the situation has forced us to meet you all online instead of offline. Usually in academic staff college it used to be online, and there used to be lot of discussions, infighting during the class hours, but I don't know how far in online classes we will be able to do that. Professor Niranjana, while introducing me, told many things. Thanks for him. Yes, I am head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in University of Mysore, and I am holding additional job as Director of Online and Distance Education, University of Mysore. Today and day after tomorrow, that's first. So I will be meeting you for 2 sessions, and sir has asked me to speak about gender and media. So I thought you're all senior teachers from various states and various parts of Karnataka, and in some issues, in some things you are more experienced than me. You know more things about, and you are experienced about the media and the gender issues. So I am not going to say this is my final verdict. I am also a student of the media, and I would discuss some things, some points which are haunting me since so many years as a student of media and as a student of the social media now in the present day, working with the social media. And when we speak about gender and media, what I see, I discuss with you. First of all, let me give my opinions. Then I invite you to give your opinions. And I am not going to say I am 100% right and only what I say should be followed. Idamitham anta naan helidde sari annuvanta ahankara eno ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ on many occasions we may agree to disagree. On many issues we may agree to disagree, yet we should trust each other. That is my belief and trust in life. So because I have 2 sessions, I thought, being a media man, in the first session let me basically discuss about the mass media, and in the second session we will discuss about the gender in the media or gender and media. So today basically I am going to discuss about the mass media, and I will speak about 40-45 minutes. Then I think for half an hour we will have time for discussion. And my always, whenever I come to the class in academic staff college, my vision is I should not tell something that is already there on the public domain. I should give the participants something to discuss and something to imagine and start anew. When you go back, you should start anew about something, about what I have said. If it is the same thing that is available on the internet or on the books, I don't think you need my lecture at all, because all of us are experts in using the internet now. Even our students are better equipped than us in many things. So, first, when we call media, I would say there are two types of media, personal and public. You may be surprised. What is this personal media? A best example would be a letter. Gone are those days of writing letters, is it not? Nowadays, we don't write letters also. Even in the Facebook, WhatsApp, the tendency is to record voice and send, even in the message, because that is easier than typing and writing. And our children have stopped writing now. They write only during the examinations because there is no writing. And usually I ask my students, how many of you are in the habit of writing the diary? Many say no. Earlier, perhaps, that was the discipline in houses, in the schools. Pupils used to write diary. Gone are those days. So when we talk of personal media, it is, a best example is letter. When we write a personal letter, it's only for that person, not for anybody else. Say, even if it is read by somebody else, we get angry, is it not? Suppose a letter comes to your house and your father or mother open it and read it. Do you like it? When you were children, it was okay. But now, definitely no. And in some houses, I know, even wife cannot read the letter of the husband, letter received by the husband, and husband cannot read the letter received by wife. Especially it happens even in the phone. Husband has a phone, wife has a phone, and husband never likes wife to see what are all the calls, what are all the messages received by. At the same time, wife may not like. There is a personal space, and that is personal medium. A letter may be personal medium. A telephonic conversation, this is also medium. Telephonic conversation is a personal medium. We talk, for example, when we teach interpersonal communication, the best example of interpersonal communication is telephonic conversation. Now you have opportunity for spreading the same message to many. But earlier, it was only to one person. You are calling someone, either he or she must answer. That's all. Nobody else can listen. That was the thing. So it was interpersonal communication. So there are personal media. When you come to literature also, there must be many literatures and people from English or Kannada background. So why a poet writes the poems? Basically for his satisfaction. Why he publishes? It is for those people who can understand him. ಸಹೃದಯರಿಗಾಗಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕವಿ ಕವನವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಟಪಡಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಮೂಲತಃ ಕವಿ ಕವನ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿ? ಅವನಿಗಾಗಿ, ಅವನ ಸಮಾಧಾನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಪಾಂಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಓವರ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಫ್ ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ರಿಕಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರಾಂಕ್ವಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಕೆಲವು ಸಾರಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಟೂ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಒನ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್. You have to write poetry because you cannot keep without writing the poetry. ಅಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕವಿ ಕವನವನ್ನ ತನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಾವನೆಗಳ ತುಮುಲಗಳ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಷನ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಕವಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ? ವೈ ಹಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷಸ್? ಫಾರ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. And what are public media? They are what we call as mass media. We have, when we call mass media, immediately you all think of newspapers, radio, television, films, and nowadays the social media, which is taking the space of all other media, and it's really challenging the traditional media. So when we refer to media, it's mass media we are talking. And so when is it accepted, the word mass media? I have, even as a student of mass communication, I had this doubt and my own objection for calling mass communication or mass media, because the problem with the term mass media. So what is mass? A term from physics. Mass has a weight and has no life. And we call mass refer to uncountable number of human beings. Can we compare the mass of physics with the mass, the so-called human beings? They are living. They have their own emotions. They have their own reasoning. And you call them masses. So when we say mass media, I have my own objection for that. I would say, instead of mass communication, it is mass media communication using the mass media. Again, the term, we have to invent a term better than the mass media that will not discriminate, or that will not speak ill of the people. So, and mass media, understand, for whom? Personal media, it is for us. It's our own media. And what about mass media? It is for the public. It is for the people. People at different places. People of different religion. People of different region. People of different language. So anything. So when we say mass media, it is the media for the public, media for the people. And what should be published in the mass media? Many of the people do not make out this difference between the personal media and the mass media. ತೇಜಸ್ವಿ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಪೂರ್ಣಚಂದ್ರ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿ ಅವರು. ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದುರಂತ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕವಾಗಿ ಏನನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಗುಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಏನನ್ನು ಗುಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. What should be done privately, what should be done privately, we publicize. And what should be publicized, we do it secretly. That's a very bad thing as far as Indian the public arena is concerned. See, for example, the tenders are called, it is open competition, and sometimes it is done.
Data operator.
Somebody should switch off. They should mute their mic. We are hearing what somebody is saying.
Okay, okay.
They are calling on the phone. That's the problem with online class. So, when we say mass media, what should be published in mass media? What should be published in the diary? What should be published in a letter? And what should be published in the public? Who is not muted?
Sidraju sir, mute ಮಾಡಿ sir. Sidraju ಅವರೇ.
Somebody has not muted.
Sir, 1 second.
Hello? Yeah, I hope now he has muted. So, and I'm not getting my picture. Where is it? 1 minute. Okay, so we were discussing about what should be printed. You are hearing me? What should be printed in the so-called mass media? When we say it is for the public, it is for the people, large number of people. So what should be printed and what should not be printed in the mass media? It is public space, is it not? Mass media is public space. So it is not to print something private. That's what I was telling. What Tejasvi used to say, that what is public is done in hiding. What should be private is being told publicly. That is very bad about our public life. See, ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಗುಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೋ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕಾಣುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಗುಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. Certain things ought to known by the people. People have the right to know. They have the right to know. They should know. They should see what is happening. But those things are hidden privately. See how tenders are called. You, if you have worked in a public office, you know how tenders are called and how they expect the same person to get the tender, because what should be done publicly will be done privately. So mass media should be media for the things that the public ought to know. I am always fond of giving one example. You remember Jayalalitha? Her foster son's marriage became world famous. Foster son's marriage, Dattu Putrana ಮದುವೆ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, why? Because she was the chief minister of a state. She was a public personality, and her foster son marriage, and the treasury, the government vehicles, and the government servants were involved in the marriage so much, it became public. It became international news. If she was not the chief minister of a state, then it would not have become such an important news. And how many, in fact, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚಪ್ಪಲಿಗಳಿದ್ದು ಜಯಲಲಿತಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆ? How many sandbags she had became international news because she was the chief minister. She was in a public office at that time. Like that, what is ought to know? If it is just private thing, marriage of chief minister's son or marriage of an individual, they make the difference. Individual marriage will not become news, whereas public figures marriage becomes news. That's about mass media. That is ought to know. Now, in fact, it is ridiculous how our newspapers behave. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನಟನ ಮದುವೆ, ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನಟನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಸೀಮಂತ. Why should that become a public? It should be published in public platform. Why it should become news? It's the question. We who are interested in journalism ask, but you know, that is the order of the day. Trivial issues, it becomes news, and major issues are not printed at all. 1 minute. Subbu. ನಮ್ದು ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಇದು ಮೇಲು. Yeah. So, unfortunately, our media, the newspapers and televisions, they highlight trivial issues and things that are not to be news, and some things which are to be news are hidden. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಸಂಗತಿಗಳು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನಟನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಬಸ್ರಿ ಆಗೋದು ಸುದ್ದಿ ಯಾಕಾಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಅವನಿಗೆ ಮಗು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, ಮಗು ತೊಟ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು? Is it the answer by the media is TRP? We go by the popularity of the program. We go by what is liked by the people. But my question is, who told them they like only such programs? Have you ever tried to make it different? But unfortunately, this continues everywhere, not only in India. Don't think Indian media are like that. Everywhere, media are like that. They concentrate on those things which are very popular. ಇದು ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಜನಪ್ರಿಯ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬೇರೆ, ಕಲಾ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬೇರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. New wave film, we say it is different. How it is? ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳಿಗೆ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿ, ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ಗೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? We are not able to see the award winning movies. They are the best of productions in that year, but people cannot go to the theaters and see them. They are not released at all. So what type of movies are released? They say that are popular. Popular movies. So which are popular? Why they become popular is $1 million question. Okay. We will discuss some more nature of mass media. First of all, we have to understand the mass media are for all, not for any class of audience. Mass and class, two different things. Earlier, there in penny press period in England, what was penny press? So 1 anna, 2 anna, 1 penny or 2 penny, these newspapers were sold on the streets. Popular. They were mass newspapers and there were class newspapers read by the class of people and not the masses. Even in India, we have certain newspapers, certain magazines. For example, if the magazine costs 500 rupees, how many of us can buy them? How many of us are ready to buy them? It is for that class only. There are many magazines about the computer world, fashion, design, many such things. And the so-called journals also, I have my own doubt. How many will read them? It is for, if it was not compulsory for the people to get promotion, nobody would have written to these journals, I am sure, because who are going to read them? It is for that class who want promotion and who want to pass, who want to publish their research in the journals. That's all. The mass will not read. So adversely, mass media, or when we call mass communication, it refers to the media that is for all, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, race, language, for all. It is public space, not private space. Understand? Owner of the media may be, there may be one person who makes money out of the media he has established, yet it belongs to the people. That's why we say we cannot write that is not printable in mass media. We have to write those things that are good for the society, that are good for the community. So it is for all. Second, reach is wide. Nature of the audience undefined. A simple question. On August 15th, Prime Minister unfurls the national flag and addresses the nation. How many people watch the Prime Minister? Can we say? Can we count? It's a fine example of mass communication, mass media communication. The audience are not defined. In mass communication, the audience are not defined. For example, how many people, whether 1 crore, whether 50 lakhs people heard the Prime Minister, saw his address, how many men, how many women, how many children, how many aged, how many people from Karnataka, how many people from Tamil Nadu, how many people from Jammu Kashmir listen to Prime Minister, and how many men and how many women, all these things are not known. That's why I say in mass media, the nature of the audience is usually undefined. It is not defined actually, it is undefined. So when we talk to the media, when we write something in the newspapers, we are not sure how many people are reading this. How many people are really, even after reading, addressing, understanding that. For example, I'll put you a question. This is the problem with online communication. I ask a question, but nobody answers because they are muted. They have to come back. See, suppose my question is, and sometimes people switch it on and go away. So we will be thinking it happens in the classes, is it not? They switch it on and go away for eating, drinking, etc. So here, how many people are listening or reading my article? For example, in your house, you may get one newspaper, 2 newspapers, 3 newspapers. Is it a guarantee that you read the news? In India, some people get newspapers to their house as prestige. It is not a guarantee that they read it. ಆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆ ಬಂದು ಬೀಳತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಾರಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡಿದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆ ತರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ? ಆದ್ರೆ ಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯವರು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೋ ಅಂತ. ಅವರ್ ನೇಬರ್ಸ್ ಮೇ ಸೇ, ಇವ್ರೆಂತ ಕಂಜೂಷಿ, ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರಿಕೆನೂ ತರಿಸಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಭಯದಿಂದ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆ ತರಿಸೋದು, ಓದ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. So nature of the audience, their interest, their number, nothing is defined in mass communication. And usually communication is one-sided and feedback is not instant. In mass communication, compared to other forms of communication, this happens. It is said feedback is rare or feedback is late in mass communication. And usually communication is one-sided. Like our online classes, it becomes one-sided communication and we do not get the response immediately, instant from the audience in the mass media communication. So, but remember, always it may not be truth. Always it may not be truth. Our people are so sensitive nowadays. So sensitive. Immediately they respond. If not in newspapers, if not in the television, they respond in social media. I remember I gave a statement in Nudisiri program in Mudbidre. Overnight I became very famous because of how it was being, it became viral on social media. And for example, what happened in Mysore recently, the gang rape incident. Overnight it became the talk of the town in the whole of India. Even internationally it became news and it became a black spot on our country itself. So now we cannot say in mass media feedback is very late. No, people are very sensitive now. We cannot say the same thing was there 20 years or 30 years back, because it was difficult for the newspapers to reach the people. Even if they reach, they should read it. Even if they read, they should react. So it was very slow. The response was very slow. ಈಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ, when I write something in the newspapers, they say, sir, I have read your article, it was good. I say, you respond, ಇದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತೋ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ವೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನ ಬರೀರಿ. ಈ ಬರೀರಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಬರೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡೋದು ಸುಲಭ, ಬರೆಯೋದು ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಬರೀರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಬರ್ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So that's why feedback is not instant in the media. The feedback is not instant, but the time is changing in the era of social media, and nowadays the newspapers and also the television, radio, they are also becoming two-way communication. You know, a newspaper has not remained only a newspaper now. Understand? It has started programs, online programs. It has started online news features. So try to reach more number of people. And in television, earlier feedback used to be one-sided and it was very late. Now what happens? No. Immediately they go for direct relay and live programs. Even in radio, now live programs are encouraged. Live programs means you go to the public place, hold the mic and ask somebody to reply a question. ಈ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ದಿವಸ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಹೇಳಿ. It is live. ಮೈಸೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದ ಘಟನೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ? So it is live. It may be in radio, it may be in TV, or see, even the newspapers have started organizing the YouTube discussions on YouTube or Facebook. Recently, I participated in one such discussion on NEP, on Prajavani. Clubhouse, you can enter the club, have a discussion over the person in the club. So, the recent trend is all the mass media, which were one-sided communication, they are becoming two-way communication now. It was necessary for them, inevitable for them, because otherwise they will not remain in the race, especially in the social media. It was very difficult to sustain. So they have started getting the feedback immediately and becoming online media. And they have started live telecasts, live broadcasts, and live programs, even from newspapers. So earlier, that feedback was not instant in the mass media. Slowly, it is changing. And one more theory pertaining to mass media is limited effects theory by Lazarsfeld, American sociologist. He tested the effect of the media, effect of the mass media. ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಓ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಜಾನ ಅದು? ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? Is it so powerful? It can create and uncreate things. That was believed. But slowly we have started understanding that mass media are not as important and as powerful as we are ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್. ಈಗ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಟಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾಕ್ಷಣ ಜನ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಂಬಿಡ್ತಾರ? ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಹೂಗುಡ್ತಾರ? ಹಾಗಾಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಭಾಷಣಗಳು 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮೋದಿ ಅವರು, ರಾಹುಲ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ that 1 lakh people who have gathered for the public function are going to vote for him? That's not a guarantee. People joining there is different. Getting votes is different. That's where the effects of the mass media comes. We thought they are very powerful. Hege antandre bullet theory. ಈ ಮಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಥಿಯರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ರೀತಿಯ ಥಿಯರಿಗಳು. ಒಂದು, earlier proposed theory was magic bullet theory. Magic bullet theory ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It's like bullet. You shoot and he is dead. Just by shooting you achieve what you wanted to do. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿಗೂ ಉತ್ತರ ಮಾಸ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಟಿವಿ ನಮ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ನಮ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಭಾವನೆ. ವೈ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಓನ್ one or the other newspaper, or they have a link with the newspapers? Because they think newspapers are very powerful. They can work in favor of them. So they think we should have our own newspaper. So all political parties have their own newspapers. They have their own channels, television channels. They go to Tamil Nadu, it is widely seen. That trend we are seeing even in Karnataka. ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಬೇಕು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಮುಖವಾಣಿ. ಸಾಮ್ನಾ is a newspaper edited by Uddhav Thackeray's wife, and it belongs to Shiva Sena. It writes about the activities of Shiva Sena. Its aim is to bring the acceptance for Shiva Sena. Newspaper Samna. So we think newspapers or magazines or radio, television, they are all very powerful media. They can make and unmake things. They can achieve, become popular overnight or become anti-hero overnight. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಬೆಳಗಾಗೋದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನಾಯಕರನ್ನಾಗಿಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಖಳನಾಯಕರನ್ನಾಗಿಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. You become very popular and you become person who is hated by everybody overnight. That is the power of the media. But limited effects theory by Laserfeld proved that mass media are not as powerful as we think. Understand? They are not as powerful as we think. Their effects are limited. There are so many other conditions. Then only they will be effective. Otherwise, no. Then, what you have to understand about mass media, most of the mass media are in private hands. This we have to understand. Some newspapers may be in the government hands. The longest standing magazine in India is the magazine by the government. Every time it publishes the Gazette of India is the longest standing magazine now. It used to be printed even during the British time. That's why we say it has a long history. Except those newspapers which are not popular publicly, other popular newspapers are in private hands. It's like an industry. And profit is the motive for these newspapers and mass media which are held by the private hands. ದುಡ್ಡು ತರದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕು? They must bring money. They must make money. That is the thing. That's the expectation. So profit is the motive. If it is not say a person who is a hardcore businessman, he will not run a show without profit, whatever it may be. ಯಾವುದನ್ನೇ ಆದ್ರೂ ಅದು ಲಾಭ ಬರದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆಯನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಹಾಲು ಕರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹುಲ್ ತರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. And basically it is not profiting. It's their assumption, their experience. So dairy and farming are not profitable nowadays. So many people have come out of that. But private people, actors, come to the mass media just to make profit. Profit is the motive. They will not run the show, they will not run the newspaper if it is not gaining popularity, if it is not self-financing. ಈಗಲೂ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ, if it is not popular, they are closed down. Is it not? So profit is the motive for all mass media. Even we have seen, even in education, in running private institutions, profit will be the motive. Otherwise, why do they run the schools and colleges? I was talking to a principal of a private college recently, and we were talking about the impact of NEP. She is a principal of a college in Bangalore, and she was telling me, sir, people are leaving our college and going to join the government colleges. Why? In government colleges, they give free laptop, and it is free, fee is not there. So they go to the private colleges, and people are not coming towards, they are going to the government colleges, they are not coming to the private colleges. The principal said a day may come when we have to close down private colleges. Except the well-known, well-established colleges, the small and medium colleges are going to face very tough time here onwards during NEP. I can bet. ಒಂದು ಮುನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಕೆಲವು ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಅಥವಾ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಆರಂಭ ಆದಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳು ನಡೀಲಾಗದೆ ಹೋದಂತ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ತಲುಪ್ತವೆ. ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ದಿವಸ ಬೇಡ ಈ NEP ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So colleges started with profit motive, they are going to be closed down. If it is not bringing profit, if it is not bringing money now, why he will run the college? ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದು ಲಾಭ ತರದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ, ಲಾಭ ಬರ್ದೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಲಾಭದಾಯಕವಾದಂತ ಹುದ್ದೆ ಅಂತ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. So profit is the motive for all mass communication nowadays. Then next, 1 minute. Yes. So coming back to which are the usual mass media we have. Earlier, we used to differentiate mass media as traditional media and modern media. Those days are gone now. Earlier, traditional media were those media which were folk media. From the folks, from the people in villages, we have innumerable examples for folk media, starting from Harikatha, Burakatha, Tamasha, Kolata, Kirtana, so many, thousands and thousands of folk art forms are there. India is the hub of folk media, in fact. So before the development of the modern media, they were the real media among the people. Folk media. We say Yakshagana, a fine example of folk media. But there is still a question whether Yakshagana is it's folk media or classical media. Because Yakshagana ಬೇಕಾಬಿಟ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದು. ಭರತನ ನಾಟ್ಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದಷ್ಟೇ ಗಂಭೀರವಾಗಿ ಯಕ್ಷಗಾನವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ನರ್ತನವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. That's a different story. So folk media one type, and traditional media. Which are the media that we call as traditional media now? They are, for example, radio, television, magazines, newspapers. They have become the traditional media now. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ವರ್ಷದ ನಂತರ ಇವೇ traditional media ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ. Newspapers, radio, TV are the main mass media we have in the present day. And they are the media in our hands. And what is its different with social media? The traditional media and social media. So traditional media are basically public media, we have understood. Social media also public media. Of course, it can be private also. Between the main traditional media and social media is, social media, there are no gatekeepers. Whereas in newspapers, we have gatekeepers. What should go in print, what should not go. That is decided by a group of people. There is a person to review it. But for social media, that is not there. In fact, social media has developed to take a revenge on traditional media. I'll tell you. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳು ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ, ಸಾಂಪ್ರದಾಯಿಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳು ಅಂತ, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಫೋಕ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್, ರೇಡಿಯೋ, ಟಿವಿ, ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಈಗಿನ ಸಾಂಪ್ರದಾಯಿಕ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ರಿವೆಂಜ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್, see, you are a writer, you have written something, you send it to a newspaper. Newspaper doesn't publish that. They will not say you can publish in some other newspapers. So it is dead as far as newspaper is concerned. But you have written it. You want to publish it somewhere. What you will do? You may use your Facebook page. You can put as a WhatsApp story. You have social media where you are the writer, you are the narrator, you are the editor. You can do that. Understand? So all involved. And this is a field where people can make money. More than money, they can express themselves freely without fear or favor. Understand? So social media it has emerged as a competitor for the print media or radio or television now. So we cannot forget, when we talk about the mass media, those in strict meaning, social media is not mass media. In the strict sense, social media is not mass media. Yet it becomes social because it can reach any number of time at a time. That was the earlier nature of mass media. So now you are not bothered if one editor fails to publish your story. ನನಗೆ ನೆನಪಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಲೇಖನವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗೆ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಲೇಖನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ನನಗಿತ್ತು. I sent it to the newspaper. I waited for 15 days. Nothing happened. They did not publish. They did not inform me also that they are not going to publish. I got angry. I came on Facebook page and narrated the story. That became instant hit. At least 1,000 people saw it within 1 hour, which you cannot expect even from the popular magazines nowadays. That's how social media is emerging as a mass medium. Okay, then one more important mass medium which cannot be compared to our traditional radio or TV or newspapers, that is films. You cannot beat popularity of the newspapers, the popularity of the film compared to all other newspapers or radio or TV. Film remains the most popular and most enjoyed medium. So Nanjan Swami, ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೊತ್ತು ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ ನಮಗೆ?
ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಸರ್. 11 ಕಾಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಸೆಷನ್.
11 ಕಾಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತಾ? ನಾನು 11:15 ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ 11 ಕಾಲ ಸರ್.